So back with episode 2 of Keeping It Real Estate.
Can you say it with a straight
I
face?
can't say it with a straight face. And the Chat GPT decided to call this episode The Edge of the Dive, Lauren's Real Estate Leap.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
we're letting Chad
Thanks,
help
Chad.
us out. He's our producer. The first episode was really just me sitting in a room at the library talking about, why I avoided real estate. I don't know. Did you
I
listen
listened.
to it?
Mhm.
Okay. How I finally changed my mind. Hopes and dreams for a podcast. Very limited.
I think actually this whole adventure is just so that you and I can have a podcast.
Yeah. And we can shoot the shit anytime we want with an excuse, right?
Mhm.
Like, this is structured
It's
shoot
work.
the shit time.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Then trying to lean into like storytelling potentially if we can get some people to come in and tell us some stories about their real estate adventures or their life adventures.
Mhm.
I saw Andy Bierman the other day. He's down to do it.
Mm.
The old mayor of Park City.
Yeah.
He's bought and sold a ton of real estate in Park City, so he'd be kind of an interesting interview.
Mhm.
But anybody really, right? Anybody who's ever bought or sold property would be kind of interesting to interview. But for today's purposes, I think we just want to kind of get into you.
Perfect.
We want to try and figure out what this is going to look like for you. You have not made the leap yet, right? So you haven't talked to your current job about the fact that you might come over to real estate. You're pretty committed inside your body,
Mhm.
but the machination of how you get here is going to be kind of interesting or just
Yeah.
hasn't started yet. So I guess like, where are you right now? Like, you're not licensed. You haven't told your current job. How does it feel to be on the edge? Do you feel or is the family just taking up too much time for you to actually think about it? And that's a genuine question, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been trying to think about the right things to talk to you about and figure out how you're feeling. And we talk about this every time we have coffee, which
Mhm.
we're having now.
Mhm.
So
Brought me coffee.
how do you feel about it? And then you sent me a podcast last night that's all about what you think versus what you feel. So maybe what you think first, and then we'll see if I can challenge how you feel about it.
No, I can do both. I mean, I think part of the answer is C, all of the above. I think that, yes, there is a lot of cognitive work going on around this move and why I want it to happen. And I think like you and I have talked about it, I think what fucks with me a little bit is so much of the logistical side of this move is because we live in a town where you're going to have to hustle to get yourself ahead. And I've worked in an industry where nobody's making a bunch of money for the past 15 years and worked my ass off and got to a place where I feel like the only step that I could do after what I'm doing right now is to open my own program. And I have no interest in that. We just are 4 years into doing that. And I don't, it's not something that I want to do again. And so being driven by the financial gains is new for me. And it is a bit of a gut check. And, my brain also can go to all the other things that are in there. It's not just about money, and it's about the skill set that I've kind of refined throughout my career is very much embedded in real estate and can be a part of it. And
How's that? How's it embedded in real estate?
because it's relational. Like
yeah.
what I do is really relational. And
What do you do, by the way? Because nobody knows and nobody's listening. So what do you do?
I work in adolescent mental health. I'm the admissions director of oh yeah, that's better.
Better.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Of a small 20-bed residential treatment center in Park City that we opened 4 years ago. But this has been my path. I started at a therapeutic boarding school, working like boots on the ground, direct care staff, and then moved into admissions from there. So I work with parents. I mean, I am very much like intertwined throughout the whole program. I know the kids. I know all the kids. I know all the parents. We're a small program, but my job is I work with educational or therapeutic consultants and parents on the front end, looking at kids' histories, reading psych testing, talking to therapists, kind of the gatekeeper.
So you get to know, yeah, you're the gatekeeper for people who need a particular thing.
Mhm.
And so you see a correlation with that skill set into like real estate being basically the gatekeeper into what do you need? Where do you want to be? Why do you want to be here?
Yeah.
Get to know somebody and then deliver for them what they need. And what you've seen in Park City, at least what you've told me, is you've seen people do basically the same thing you're doing from a relationship standpoint,
Mhm.
but 10x the income that you make.
Mhm.
And you're not sure about the stress or the pressure or whatever, but it feels like um like the consequences are sort of lower from a personal impact perspective because
Mhm.
you're actually dealing with selling and buying things
Mhm.
instead of trying to cure somebody's
Children.
child,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so there's significant there's a significant difference there, but the skill set seems to lend itself to what you I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, and I will say, as you're talking, what came to my head is part of this move too that I'm abundantly aware of is I think a whole host of people, other people, could have proposed this real estate idea to me, and I would have been like, no fucking thank you. But there is a part of this that you are intertwined in that has been impactful in how my brain is thinking about this process because I think you and I have similar views and have had a similar relationship. I mean, your familial history is far different than mine in the way of development in real estate, but I think our feelings about it have been similar.
we fucking hated it forever.
Yeah, it felt gross.
Felt gross. Is gross a feeling? It feels like a feeling, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know if you would say it's a feeling, but it feels yeah,
Yeah.
the way you describe the feeling inside is icky.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Not genuine, not authentic, and I think that is what has been interesting for me to turn that on its edge to say, "Does it have to be that way? Why does it feel that way? What haven't I liked about it? And is there space to exist in that world in a different way?" And that's exciting. I think that is interesting, and it's a way for me to approach the idea of this in a way that does feel more genuine. It feels more
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. Like, we talk a lot about podcasts, and it's funny that we're sitting here doing this, and by the way, we'll probably reference this stuff a lot because,
yeah.
like, one of my thoughts for the name of this was No Original Thoughts.
Oh,
Because,
put it on
like,
the side burner.
yeah, because maybe it's one of our taglines or something, but I, I don't really feel like any of these thoughts are like original. I
Yeah.
just feel like people are uncomfortable saying them
Uh,
sometimes, right? And
yeah.
then the things that we're drawn to are people who are a little bit more like willing to just say the thing,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's, podcasts about addiction or trauma, or if it's podcasts that are just funny where
Mhm.
people are giving each other shit.
Mhm.
Those things jive, they make us feel good. Or they at least I feel like I identify with those things. Podcasts like Smartless or
Uh-huh.
Armchair Anonymous or Let Them,
Uh-huh.
right? Like all of those are totally different things, but they all play well together. And it's interesting. I had this moment the other day where I was telling my Jeff up at the restaurant
Mhm.
about a deal that I heard about, right? A friend of ours in Park City who we all know did a deal. His father got him into the business and
Real estate?
he did a $28 million deal the other day,
Oh, baby.
right? I I mean, I'm still learning how to even find how those deals happen or when they happen or whatever. But he did a $28 million deal the other day, and Jeff was we were on the golf course, and he was like, "There's nothing that's okay about that."
Mhm.
And I'm looking at him and I'm like, "Okay, I'm trying to think about how to navigate having a conversation with him because I know I've been where he is."
Mhm.
Right? Like I know I've been right there where I'm like, there's nothing right about, a $28 million deal. He's like, "What did they make? Like over $1 million on that?" I'm like, "No, they didn't make that much, but it's a lot of money." I mean, they're banking some, do the math,
Yeah.
3% on 28 million. It's
More than most people have in there.
in their life, some of them,
Mhm.
right? People put that number down as their retirement number,
Yeah.
right? So when people say it's not about the money, but then they're really upset when somebody does a deal like that,
Mhm.
falls they think they fell into a deal like that. I know this agent has been doing it for, his dad had been doing it for 35 or 40 years and he's been in it for 10.
Mhm.
Like, I have no idea how hard he worked.
Yeah.
I know he made a lot of money on one deal.
Was
That was
Jeff's sentiment that there's nothing okay about the realtor's role in it or the whole thing?
the whole thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, yeah, because I asked him, like, "Was it the realtor making a half $500,000 or is it that there's somebody buying and selling $28 million houses," right? Because there's 2 people in that deal.
Mhm.
Somebody sold a $28 million house and somebody bought one.
Mhm.
So there's, you know, 3 groups of people in there, and he
Mhm.
was
Mad at all of them.
yeah, he's visibly frustrated with all of them, and I don't know exactly where to place that,
Mm.
but I also do know that I was sitting there going, "Well, I hope you fucking hate me in a couple of years because I'm hoping for."
Oh
Right? Like,
god.
he's like one of my best, oldest friends in the world, and I'm like, "That is no shit, that's what I'm chasing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm chasing."
Well, I mean, okay, so 2 things come to my head. One is I don't know if this came up in that podcast, I forget, but it's a good challenge for me because one is the idea of a primary, like a primary reaction or feeling and a secondary. And there's all the understanding of your secondary reaction or feeling or response or whatever. Those are usually like rage and anger and, you know, a lot of that I would say for me probably sits in that. And then if you go back and dig in and figure out what your primary is. So it's like you're playing outside with your kid and they run into the street and there's a car coming. As parents, most of our first reactions are going to be anger, like, get the fuck out of the street, like,
Yeah,
but what is under that is fear. And so
for sure.
for me, what that challenge is for me, because when you said $28 million, the first thing that comes into my head is my grandmother because she would see like a big house or somebody driving a fancy car and she would say, "Oh, that's so sinful."
Oh,
And to her, I think that relates to excess is unnecessary, right? Like
mhm.
there are there are people in the world that have very little and then there's this guy over here that has the $28 million house. And so for me, I think what is behind it is a little bit of that. Like I feel that. And there's part of me that agrees with Jeff. It's like, God, that really feels excessive and unnecessary.
Yeah,
And then there's this other side, and I think we all experience it if we're parents or if we're around kids or, whatever, of there's a part of growth that involves accepting what's around you and understanding that you gotta play in the sandbox in some way, right? So, like
yeah, and I talked about that in the first episode a little, right? I talked about it just comes to you naturally, or at least me at this point, after serving on city council and trying to
mhm,
represent everybody,
mhm,
even people I disagree with. It really helped me become more comfortable with my judgments. I'm not about to say that I don't still have them, right?
mhm,
I still have them. They're in there. I'm not sure if I have the same relationship with them that I used to have, but they're in there.
Mhm.
And one of those things is like everybody, well, like the corner store analogy, right? Like everybody deserves the opportunity. Every human
Uh-huh.
deserves the opportunity to enjoy whatever moment they're in,
Yeah.
right? So, like, you show up in Park City and Vale's got the airport lounge feeling bar, right? That's just what I always think of Legends as. Like, I go in there, I'm like, this is like a nice airport lounge.
Mhm.
It just, you know, they got rolled up silverware and linens and all the stuff, but you know that they're just going to gouge the living shit out of you,
Yep.
you know? And I just never felt great about that.
Mhm. Mhm.
That was a judgment. So I built a bar and a restaurant that like catered to,
Was not that.
yeah, it was not that. Yeah, good point. Good way to put it. But I also wanted for sure for people to feel if they came here for a day, they could sit at the bar next to, you know, Alden, who's shit faced every day at the bar, or they could sit next to somebody who is taking a day off of work to go ski some powder or
Mhm.
something like that. And for a moment, they can feel like they live here,
Mhm.
right? They can be treated like they live here. And if they come back next year, the bartender's going to kind of remember their face and be like, oh, hey, welcome back. You know, like, and if that person has a $28 million house or lives in a van in the down by the river or in the parking lot, like they deserve to have that experience. Why am I judging them based on the thing I don't know? I know nothing about them.
Yep.
If I only knew they had a $28 million house,
Yeah.
I know I would treat them differently. And that sucks. So
Mhm.
build a place that sort of breaks all that down, allow them to walk in their rental gear,
Mhm.
right? And
With their Texas handbag.
whatever it is, right? But allow them to come in and
Yeah.
tell their story at the bar because that enriches everybody's life.
Well, and do you seek that out when you're in other places?
Of course, right? That's the point of building it here.
Yeah.
And that's always why I've defended tourism in Park City. That's
Uh-huh.
why but I've felt like a hypocrite because
Hmm.
I've judged the
Mhm.
wealth disparity so harshly.
Mhm.
And it's not the people's fault. They have different hopes, dreams, desires. The society begs for them to go do this. Some of them just hit the
Yep.
fucking jackpot. Good job. Why am I judging them, put them all in the same boat?
Well, that's the primary, like, that gets back to the primary. What's underneath that? Is it that we desire what they have? Is it that it makes us sad that that disparity exists and they just happen to be on the receiving end of it? I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know
So if
where
it's
mine sits.
so if it's so back to your transition, if it's not about the money,
Mhm.
which is bullshit, it's about the money to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's about the money for all of us.
Yeah. Has
It's
to
the
be.
smartest job to take in Park City. When your average home price is $3.5 million,
Yeah.
you're entrepreneurial in nature, you're good at relationships, you
Mhm.
need flexibility with your life.
On paper, it
You
all
don't want to
checks.
move towns.
Yep.
You don't want to leave. You
Yep.
don't want to go to Costa Rica and start a yoga studio. Like,
I mean, some days.
maybe. No, want and you're not gonna are
Right.
two different things. And so you're here, right?
Right. Right.
I'm here. We have deep networks. We've
Mhm.
made really good relationships. We've tried other careers,
Mhm.
right? We've been there.
Mhm.
And frankly, we succeeded and we could continue to do those things. No problem. We would live a good life.
Mhm. Yep.
It's about the money. I'm like, that's what it is. It's about the money to a certain extent. But is there a way to do it where we say, yeah, differentiate or die?
Mhm.
And I think the thing that you and I resonated on when we started talking about this, like almost a year ago, is like, we think we can differentiate a little bit just by kind of approaching it in this way. And it's
Mhm.
not to say that other real estate agents aren't genuine. It's not to say that they don't
Yeah.
bring their own thing. But the reason we feel good about potentially working together is because we kind of giggle about same kind of shit and also not tied to the outcome. Like if somebody wants
Right.
Valen and Jameson, which is a different team in our brokerage, and I'm going to their house after this. They have an $18 million listing up in Promontory. Yeah, I wanna hang around them and see how they're doing it
Mhm.
because I want one of those. But I'm not sure we're gonna have the same relationship with our clients because I think that we live our lives a little bit differently, but probably not as differently as I think.
Well, right. I think that is the piece that has been true for me from the beginning, and actually there's an overlap in what I'm doing right now, which is if you can truly be steadfast or grounded in what you offer, who you are, what your values are, what's important to you, and you lead with that, then you allow people to take it or leave it. And if you are good with what you're leading with, you're also good with people saying no thanks. And I think for us, there are going to be people who may have a $28 million house or budget who value that approach over something else. And I think that's what you and I are hinging on a bit in the way of, yeah, there are going to be people who want an approach that other agents have that isn't as relationship driven, that isn't as connection driven, and that's okay.
Does that kinda when you think of it that way, is that the part that kinda lights you up, makes you feel like, "This is gonna be good, this is like" is that the energizing part, or is that the security part? What part is that for you?
I think that part is I think that part is yeah, there's a stabilizing part in there for me that allows us to not have to have a dog and pony show that doesn't feel good. This has to feel good. What I know about where I am in my life and in my career, this became abundantly clear 5 to 7 years ago and what I was doing in my work, where as I was in this field, and people did things a certain way, and programs that I worked for were run by certain personalities that I can say operated really from a place of fear, understandably, right? You want to run a business that can stay open, but it drove decision making in a way that didn't feel good to me. Um, I gained clarity on what I'm okay with and what I'm not okay with, and what I come back to every time is I need to be able to show up in the way that is connected and authentic to who I am and what I believe is good in this in order for this to be sustainable.
So, that's kinda both, right? That's the future looks bright,
Yeah.
but that also is, like, tapping into the fear a
Mm,
little, right? Because when I hear you say, "I know what I like or I don't like," or
mm,
whatever, so what parts right, so, like, the light you up part is being able to do any new career, any new transition
mhm,
in the most authentic way
mm,
that you can see it through the lens of somebody who's had a lot of life experience now, has a pretty settled, take that lightly, family life, right? Like,
mhm,
stable in that, you and Steve are good, your kids
mhm,
are good, they're mentally squared away, right? We share that, right?
yep,
Like, our family life is something that's super dependable. It's like a
mhm,
rock.
mm,
We know it comes first. We know that's what's gonna happen. So that's like a super safe place, even though it can be like a roller coaster ride and exhausting and all those things. It's just stable. You know it's gonna be there and it comes first. But you get to go into this transition, and it just happens to be that real estate's the transitional sort of end point, or it seems like it's gonna be for you. It is for me at this point, right? I joke this is my last job in Park City, unless I go into politics again, but this is my last job,
uh-huh,
and with people getting shot because of political BS recently, like, this might be my last job.
mhm,
That's definitely more on the table now than it has been because of the way I approach
yep,
things in that authentic way, and I think I could do this job forever in an authentic way and never have somebody feel like they wanna kill me,
mm,
right? That's just
Fair.
You gotta weigh that shit, right, when you have a family.
Yeah.
That's part of the deal. Joanne even said it the other day, she's like, "If we didn't have, kids, I think I'd feel differently," but, when people are getting smoked because of this, like, the way you go
Is it
about
worth it?
kind of letting people have it, it's tough,
The
right?
way you run your mouth.
Well, we'll get into that, right? But that fear part, like, what else is scary, right? Are you afraid that you might be doing a job
Mm,
that can't be done authentically?
mhm,
Because we don't see a lot of it, at least it doesn't feel like from our, naive perspective right now with how green we are, at least collectively, we're kind of, like, coming at this with some judgment and some,
mhm,
pretty rough around the edges, trying to dial it in. Maybe we're
mm,
gonna find some real genuine people. I can name
for
10 of
sure.
them right now that I feel like do it in that way,
Yeah.
but where are your fears? What's, like, the
It's more interpersonal at this
yeah.
place. I think I am still swimming in the soup of my career has been, um, based in a field that is a helping field and very outwardly helping, right? It's very obvious. You can translate that into real estate in lots of ways, I think, in the way of, like, joining somebody in their journey of moving their family, of starting a new life, of, creating a second home for their grandkids to come to. There's lots of stories in there. It's not as obvious, it's not as out front, and I have a lot of parts, I think, probably tied into my ego that are being pushed on in this way of I've been really proud of what I do in my work. I've been really connected to it. I uh my mom is an attorney and her whole career has been built around juvenile work and contributing to, quote unquote contributing to society. I mean, I think I've tried to get her to retire for many years because it's also taxing and it's also hard and it takes a toll and all these things, but I think the fear is not I don't think the fear sits in, "Can you and I do this well?" That feels connected and feels authentic. I don't question that.
Mhm.
The fear sits in where these pieces are tied in the depth for me of my relationship with my judgments and what I
And with
think that
yourself, right?
and with
Like, when you
myself.
look in the mirror, what does it look like?
Yeah.
Um, and can the potential of financial payout or reward mitigate that when we both know, like, we both know and feel. I would say we both know and feel that the the economic rewards aren't gonna fill the hole in
Mm,
any way, shape, or
yeah.
form. We've both done enough therapy to know that, like, that's just not gonna
Mhm.
that's not gonna do it. It's gonna be relieving in
Yeah.
certain ways. It'll also add some stress, and we don't wanna get caught up in it, but the reality is that's what we're gonna be chasing. So, like, how do you look in the mirror and go, "Well, it was a stellar year. I crushed it economically.
Mm.
The people I helped basically have expendable 3 to $10 million purses, and the people I used to help were drug addicted kids," or right? How does that how does that look in the mirror and then
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a little bit of the funny part is that I also work in the private pay industry. That means that the families that I'm working with have I mean, I've worked with tons of families over the years that are are mortgaging their homes or selling their houses and
to
bank
save their
borrowing and
kid.
stealing to save their kid, and there's a point to that, like, there's only so much of that that you can do, so even at that place, if you have a home to sell that will allow you these services, you are in a certain category of financial.
I agree with that. That's the intellectual piece where you
Yeah.
know that the demographic you're serving might
Yeah.
be similar,
Yep.
but the outcome is a totally different thing.
Yes, so the place that my brain goes, and it was already clicking while you were talking is my hope. So part of this is community for me. I feel like when I moved here 20 years ago and lived in town and spent time at the library because I didn't have a computer, like the cliche kind of ski bum story lended me to be more engaged in the fiber of our community. And I think as we've physically moved further away from kind of the core of Park City and then also have had kids and have had growing careers and all the things, the time to be as engaged in our community has been taxed, and that makes me sad. And my hope in part of this transition is you can't help but be more engaged in the community. You're getting I there are parts of this town where there will be real estate for sale that I haven't been in years or that I've never been. There are people doing this that I have never met that are really, deeply embedded into this community. And my hope is that with the weird schedule that realtors have to hold, it would allow me to sit on the board of some local nonprofit or
Mhm.
have more space and time potentially to be more engaged in our community, which also feels good.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, it's funny because like, you kinda keep leaning into like, I did write down some stuff, and one of my next questions was like, "What expectations are you carrying for the next
Mhm.
chapter?" And that's exactly what you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
just a natural flow to get to
Yeah.
these places where you're like, "Look, all transitions are difficult,
Mhm.
right? They are. And there are gonna be iterations to it,
Mhm.
and we're gonna get wrapped up in the real estate thing sometimes, and then we're gonna have a conversation like the one I described to you this morning
Mhm.
where, I was having breakfast at my restaurant yesterday, and this woman who's working in the restaurant told me about her boyfriend who died in front of her at 31 years old, had a heart attack, and then the conversation continues and she divulges that her father hung himself 10 years ago, and she found him in 10-minute or 15-minute period of time while she was gone. So, like, bringing life back to, like, right in front of you
Yep.
when you're wrapped up in it. And yesterday morning, I was wrapped up in
Mhm.
it, right? I mean, I have a few deals going, and I'm trying to, like, navigate this whole process, and this woman tells me this story, and I actually had a great day yesterday because I was like, "No, I'm gonna
Mhm.
do 3 important things, and I'm gonna go for a walk with the dog, and I'm gonna, like,
Yep.
really enjoy what our life has to offer," and it didn't mean I dropped the ball.
Yep.
I just let the
Yeah.
pressure release valve because somebody brought some perspective to it. And frankly, hopefully, like, yeah, man, I joined a board, right?
Mhm.
Like, I'm still staying engaged. I'm gonna be on the Education Foundation board, which I kinda regretted right after I got on there. 'Cause it's like
If you didn't say that, I was
it's a
gonna push you to say that.
it's a bunch of, it's like I
Uh,
have some judgments about what that's gonna be, but then I'll just dive in and we'll figure it out, right? It's like, whatever. But you're right, you'll probably have some freedom that you don't currently have. You have some pressures you don't currently have.
Yep.
There's a risk for sure,
Mhm.
but do you have expectations? Like, do you like when you tell yourself the story of 18 months from now, what is it? D Does it feel really blurry, or
Mm.
do you have some clarity to like, "You know what? In 18 months, I will be, firmly entrenched in this new thing," or are you like, "Holy shit, this thing feels like it's taking longer than I wanted it to. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable." Like,
Mm.
what's going on?
I think I think it's a little bit of both. So, if I reflect on the idea of transitions, it's crazy to think about, uh, like, a year into starting this program, 2 years in, I couldn't ever fathom doing anything but what I was doing. And part of that is we worked so hard to get that program to where it is. Literal blood, sweat, and tears. You know, we were all working graves, we were working the floor, we were also working our jobs. my family sold our house and we were really in transition and also managing
Yeah.
building a house and all this crazy stuff. It was a pressure cooker. And there's part of me that I have gotten really comfortable with and appreciate in a different way that uh, that looks at pressure more as a privilege because I operate well in it. I need it. When I was a kid, it was, my mom would call it procrastination because that's what I would do. But then when the pressure was enough, I could fucking knock it out of the park. And flipping that relationship has been important. But so I think that I don't necessarily have a clear vision of what 18 months will look like or what I want it to look like. But what I do know in terms of the scaffolding is that um, the risk, the financial risk, the weight of the financial risk is there. I can feel it. And there's part of that that I appreciate because that is the pressure for
Mhm.
me. Um, Being able to sit in the fear is good.
Fear and excitement, right? Because, like, it sounds
Yeah.
to me like the pressure to you, because you have a lot of history of performing under pressure,
Mhm.
ki kind of validates, like,
Mhm.
right? You're kinda going, "Oh, shit,
Mhm.
here we go," but
Totally.
at the same time, you're like, "Here we go.
Yeah.
This is it," right?
Yeah.
This is the thing, and you get to look at it through the lens of, like, okay, the people who commit and do it, crush it.
Mm.
They there are not people there genuinely are not people who commit, like, really commit
Don't
and
do
do
well.
it and don't do well. Not around here. It is, you know, you can it's Swiss cheese. You can see the holes in the people who are not successful. It is so clear.
Yeah. I know, that concept for me, and you've talked about it a lot, and I buy in. I see it. I mean, the open house with the pile of dog poop on the sidewalk is such a great
Yeah.
real experience and just our experience in general with that. Um, and the self-doubt that I feel in that moment is complicated because I think I what I know about myself and what I think is I value maybe is like I can hustle. I've hustled since I was 14. I've worked my whole life and I believe in myself to figure it out. Um, but because this is so new and I don't have experience, um, there is doubt that comes in. Like if you were to say, okay, you're going to start this new job in this field that you're in. You don't know anything about the company, but they seem like good people. Go do this. I'd be like, I'll be fine. I can do this easily.
Mhm.
This is so new and so different that I know I can hustle and I know I can figure it out, but I can't. It's so blurry that I can't even
Yeah.
get the view. So in 18 months, we need to talk again and have this conversation and say, all right, what lines did you color in? And overall, I can say I trust in you and I trust in myself, and I trust in like the ability to figure it out.
Mhm.
And with the guideposts of I want to be able to use my skills in these ways that are important. I want to figure out a way to be more engaged in the community. I want to figure out a way for other people to have a different relationship with buying and selling a house or with who a realtor is in general. Yeah, I don't have any doubt that that can happen.
Mhm.
It is just a big, fat, new world that feels.
Yeah, this is having been going through it the last 18 months to 2 years,
Mhm,
it's like a full identity shift. There are
mhm.
so many things that I said I wouldn't do that I do now. There are I mean,
Yeah,
it is such a it's a really unique experience to go through this. I think, career changes are ubiquitous.
Mhm. Oh,
People make
yeah.
them all the time, right? But when it comes with what you feel needs to be an identity shift because of how much you have to market yourself,
Mhm.
that balance has been really difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That's a really challenging thing to like tell people. I mean, 2 years in and I'm still dancing around saying I'm a real estate agent. It's, like,
With your
hard to say it
dancing.
right now, right? It's, like, it's
I
such
can't.
a weird thing, and
Mhm.
that's my judgment.
Yeah.
That's my judgment. That's not theirs. That's me telling a story about what I think they think because of
Mm.
how deeply it was
Oh,
ingrained in me, right?
that is th what you just said, though, is the important part. It's not what you think, it's what you think they think.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, look, we all live in that world,
Mhm.
right? Like, we behave most of our behavior is because of what we think somebody else thinks.
Mhm.
Like, that's just the reality.
Mhm.
And ideally, we get to a place where we just can put that aside. And like I said to you a couple times, another agent in town said to me at an open
Mhm.
house, he was like, I was like, how are you doing with this? He used to own a transportation company. He's done a bunch of different stuff, but he seems like a pretty chill guy. And I don't know him very well, but he was like, what do you mean? I was like, do you like real estate? And he goes, oh, I love it. And I was like, really? What's it? He's like, I'm selling other people's stuff. It's not mine,
Right.
right? It's not. He's like, I mean,
Right.
that's such a, it doesn't mean that you don't care about it,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't mean you don't want the outcome to be good for those people, but it is not yours.
Mhm.
I'm not selling my house and I'm not buying my house.
Yep.
So, like,
Yeah.
that is the definition of not being tied to the outcome, but being in it for the process. What do you want? You like pink? I'll find you some pink.
Yep.
It has a good friend of mine used to be a painter,
Mhm.
and I would ask him, "Hey, can you paint this, room for me or whatever?" And he'd come in. I'm like, "What do you think of this color?" He's like, "I don't pick colors.
Mhm.
I'm out. I'm here to put the color on the wall.
Yep.
That's it." And separating yourself from it is so important to just allowing it not to be your identity. It's just what we're going to do.
Mhm.
And then be proud of how we do it.
So, my reflection is I have a lot of room to grow in ugh, it's such a long road that I could go down, but I'm gonna try and condense it. I have a lot of room to grow, and this is what I've thought about even as I have really been on the periphery and understanding, with you and I having coffee and the things that you're working on and the process and me having a far away view of the clients that you have. My growth will come in not inserting my desire for people to be happy in the way that I, in my brain somewhere, have decided they want,
Mhm.
in how I interact with their experience of buying or selling a house.
Let them, right?
Totally.
Again.
Yeah, but this is so the quick deep hole is what I know through my work is I have um really done a masterful job of refining this skill of I can sit in a room, and this was like, if you go through all the clinical stuff that I know from my job, this was what certain areas would call like a survival strategy. We all have survival strategies. We're raised in environments by imperfect humans. We're trying to figure out how to keep connected to our caregiver. And what I know is that I'm really good at reading a room and being like, he needs this and she needs this and they need that because I will keep the peace. I will make sure everybody is taken care of to keep the harmony. And it's a good skill. I appreciate the skill.
Mhm.
The hard part that I have worked on over the past 10 years or whatever is what do I need? What do I want? How do I ask for that? How do I communicate that? And that was a hard process for me because I can do this external stuff really well.
Mhm.
So, what has come up for me in recent years and in reflection on transitioning to a new environment is how do I hone in on, yeah, that as a skill of being able to no, you as my client, piece out what you're saying, because sometimes people aren't able to be super clear. Piece out what you're saying is important to you and just let that be and not try to be like, oh, she's saying this, but I think it really is in this thing and it's because she wants this. And then I'm going to read between the lines and get way over here.
Mhm.
And I just got to let this be and not work harder.
Yeah, there's so much to what you're saying there that's like that's gonna be a perpetual growth pattern,
Totally.
right? That every interaction is gonna be somebody asking you to not do that, right? It is. It's whether it's
Yeah.
with me or
Yeah.
clients or title companies or
Hmm.
transaction coordinators or other, other agents where you're like, God, they're doing like all of it plays into that discipline,
Hmm.
so to speak.
And where's the line? Like that human connection, there is a part of this where it might be like you and I connect in the morning. We're both all over the place because our kids are wild and
Mhm.
we're trying to get back to school and all these things. And I know that you start your day off with a cup of coffee and that hasn't happened yet. And I can figure it out from our conversation and I'm going to grab a cup of coffee and bring it to you. Those things are great. They're appreciated. I appreciate them as in relationship with people. And then where do you know where that line is and
Stops,
where does
yeah.
it stop? Yeah.
Yeah, where you're feeding you versus everybody else,
Mhm.
especially in an industry that's like this is a service industry, right? I
Totally.
mean, that's what it is. We're supposed to read between the lines and try and deliver somebody to an outcome that
Mhm.
they've either stated they like or they want.
Mhm.
You wrote it down,
Mm.
right? And you're on this track, and then they stated they want something different.
Mhm.
Happens every showing, every house. I need this much parking. I need this many bedrooms. It needs to be under. This has happened to me on every deal so far except for your parents.
Really?
Yeah, my budget is X.
Mm.
The house that's closing on Monday, they are paying almost 2 times what their original budget was.
Yep.
Just shy of 2 times what their original budget was.
Right.
It's
And
it's
how do you
like
navigate that? Because
it's really hard, right?
I've been
And
in the seat of we very clearly state the first experience we had in real estate in Park City was we'd never bought anything. It felt pukey.
yeah.
And I remember the realtor being like, and we, from the beginning, we were like, this is what we can afford, not $25,000 more. That is the very top. And like the first house that we fell in love with, it was like, you got to bring your greatest and best or whatever the hell the term is, because there's other people interested. And we were like, we told you exactly what we could do. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there are people who
They
aren't,
don't tell you
that
that.
don't tell you that. And so,
Most don't. And that's where and also, like, you might find a property that's the asking price is above, but you're gonna land below. So
totally.
then your search has to include it, and then you're risking looking like an asshole for putting somebody in love with a house they can't afford. And so navigating how to get to people's financial bottom line
Mm.
is really difficult. And it has to do with your mortgage lenders. It has
Yep.
to do with whether there is contingent other properties to be sold. That's where, this is the part where it's not about the money does come into play,
Yep.
right? The bigger the number, the less it matters,
Mm,
right? Like their range up there north of $10 million is crazy, right? You can show them 13 million.
mhm.
You
Right,
just can
right. No, that's a good
because
point.
they're going to figure it out. They have $10 million
If
to
you've got
spend.
10, you've got 13.
But if you have 700 grand, you don't have 750,
Mhm. Right,
right? That difference is all of it. That's all the furniture for their house.
right.
That's all of it.
Yeah.
So that's why, like,
Mhm.
straight up, like, to make things easier,
Yep.
the chase is that big stuff because, yeah, we're gonna have to put money out to get that thing marketed, and we're gonna be competing with the best of the best, but, like, at the end of the day, some of those nuances that are really difficult go away.
Mhm.
And that's been part of my transition to
Mhm.
this residential stuff is the nuances in commercial, really difficult, right? The bigger the deal in commercial, the more nuanced it gets, not the less. It's
Yeah.
way more complicated. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do residential. Small scale, that's where you start, right? I get it. Let's get some reps. Let's make sure we
Mhm.
understand these things. But yeah, I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head. If with all of this, like because we've been talking for 50 minutes, let's say 5 years from now, you're looking back and you're
Mhm.
going, I mean, you and I have talked about what 10 years from now looks like,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
But for you personally, you're looking in the mirror 5 years from now. And, you know, what does success look like to you? Is it we talk about the financial, we talk about looking in the mirror, we talk about the service, we talk about is it I've served on 3 or 4 boards. I look in the mirror and I go, "You know what? I learned a new industry and I crush it still and my skill sets did translate. I'm able to still feed this family." What does success look like for you? Because I know what it looks like for me and I haven't
Yeah.
expressed it yet, but we'll get there.
Mhm. Today?
No.
'Kay.
If you
Mm,
need it, I mean, shit, I don't know. It changes. Let's do it every time. We'll see what happens.
yeah. Yeah, ask me in 2 years. So, I would say there are the obvious ones. Success looks like, um, I have entered this new career in a way that, um, stays in my integrity and has impact in my community where I have chosen to stay. So, like the Costa Rica thing, I am a gypsy at heart that if Steve came to me tomorrow and said something wild, which he wouldn't, I'd be like, "I'm in."
Yeah.
And there's part of me that is understanding there's goodness in my gypsy, and there's part of me that is understanding what that also does in the way of my discomfort and dealing with it, right? So 5 years says I am committing to this community, and in this new career path, I have been able to make impact both in the world of real estate and how um, people can experience buying and selling homes in our town, but then also impact in, yeah, I've at least been on one board and been able to contribute my time and energy and
In a way that feeds your soul.
resources in a way that feels
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels
Yeah.
like I'm contributing. Yes, financially, my what would be successful in 5 years is that I've been able to make an impact on mine and my family's financial landscape that has given us a bit of breathing room that I feel like is needed right now, but also can contribute to the big picture, right? Like you and I have talked about, travel is really important to me. What do you need for travel, time, and money?
Feeds the gypsy,
Feeds my gypsy
right?
in a
Like
healthy way.
money can feed the gypsy for sure.
Mhm. And, I mean, my work schedule right now is far more flexible than most people, and I want more, and there's part of real estate that I know that you have to you have to be able to do it when you have to do it, and having control of, like, you know, my kid has a performance at school and, those things I can do now too, and I want that to continue and even maybe some more so where it's possible. So I don't have like a financial number, but I know where I am now, and my goal in 5 years is that it's above, like decently above.
I think more in a year and a half. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just,
yeah.
but that's, like and maybe I'm unrealistic in this, but I don't think I am, you know, I just don't think that
Mhm,
I made the transition to residential real estate 6 months ago ish. And by the end of July, if I was just if we were together
mhm,
by the end of July, you'd be and we split everything, you just based on what I've done this first part of the year,
mhm.
you would be halfway to your financial goal already.
Yeah.
and we're 6 months in.
Yeah.
So there's an element of like, we're gonna figure it out. There's risk. I get what you're saying, but I think you should set your sights higher on the financial stuff
Mm.
so that you can set your sights higher on the gypsy stuff,
Mhm.
right? Like, I think they play together well.
Yeah.
And we talk about these things like 10x is easier than 2x and all this
Mhm.
stuff. And that plays for your emotional well being, your mental well being, your physical well being, and your financial well being. And if if we're chasing all of those, great. If we're chasing one of them, we're going to be out of balance. Like
Mhm.
there's this, I do a like a self-reading thing that's like it talks about, your life is like an orchestra
Mm.
and all the different parts need to play well together in order for it to sound good. If
Yeah.
one of them is out of balance, the orchestra doesn't sound very good.
Yeah.
And so if you're over on something, if the drum is too loud,
Yeah.
you can't hear the violin.
Mhm.
And so it has to have balance. So when you start talking about, well, I talk about 10x is easier than 2x a lot because it's one of its main things is start with 150 days a year off,
Mhm.
right? So my calendar wants to be at 180 days a year off. That's not weekdays. It's just that's the whole year, right?
Mhm.
And if you really break it down, your weekends and your holidays and your stuff like that, if you do it, you're not asking for that much.
Mhm.
That's one of the reasons why partnership is so good
Mhm.
because we can say to each other, look, open house on Saturday, right? Like, hopefully we're busy enough to have multiples and we're doing that and we can pay people to do those and stuff like that. That's great. But in the short term, it's like, you're on this weekend, I'm off, vice versa. Or we split time. When I'm alone, it feels like I need to make sure that I'm available. So that's where partnerships are great.
Mhm.
But I think that your sites are probably, I mean, I think it's good to be conservative in nature, right? I just do. I think that's good. What it tells me though is that the fear is real.
Yeah. Well, the fear is real, and I do think, or I know, and I think you and I have talked about it a little bit too. I recognize my relationship with money. I mean, Steve will talk about um, when we were first dating and we lived in our little bitty one-bedroom apartment on Little Bessie. He still gives me shit about this today. And we had this conversation where he was talking about his aspirations for his career and all these things. And like indignantly, I was like, I never want to make $100,000. That's so unnecessary. It's so, just above what needs to happen. And he was like, what? He probably was like, ah, shit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna have to make twice what I thought. This is great.
And part of it, there's so many like tentacles of that. But part of it was I grew up in this funny little town that had in Ohio that had families with deep family money,
Yeah.
uh, and my view of that, and I was like,
Didn't feel
"Pass.
good.
No,
Yeah.
thanks." And I mean, that was the example that I gave to him, and he was like, "Well, you don't have to do that." But so I know that there's funky hiccups in my relationship with money, and it's shifting. And part of why it's shifting is because I'm in a family, and I want things for my family,
Yeah.
and I want my relationship to time to be different, and a really obvious path to that is to take the pressure valve off.
I think that this will be a theme for us throughout this whole thing is just like the financial piece, right? And that's why I like our little tagline. It's not about the money with a question mark because, right, it,
Yeah.
it is and it isn't. And it's all these things. And like we have this sort of idealistic piece. I think we have a problem because we both are the gypsies in our family, which is going to be a thing we have to navigate.
We have to have Joe and Steve on at the same time.
Right. Yeah, we got to get them in here. I will say it's not about the money question mark.
Yeah.
Each of us,
Yeah.
$1 million in 1 year is my 5-year goal
Mm.
total.
Mhm.
Like, so 2 million net. That's just, I know that sounds really fucked up to say,
Mm.
but that's what I see the best doing.
Yeah.
And I'm not really in this. Like, I know comparison is the thief of joy, right? But this is a competitive industry.
Yeah.
It is a part of the game. And when you say and we say we'd like to try and bring a particular thing to it, we'd like to do it a little differently, we'd like to, you know, that's competition.
Mhm.
That's us saying, you know, relative to other people, this is how we differentiate.
Right.
And we think that there's something in there where people that, you know, maybe we're naive and we don't know, but we think there's something that's missing and we want to try and provide it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's a competitive element of that. And as much as I'd like to say I'm not that competitive, I am in some
Mhm.
regards, but it's really a competition with myself. Like, can I get to that level? Can I
Mhm.
find people, can we find people who do deals at that level that have this ideology? Can we find them?
Mm.
Is there are there an abundance of those people? Because, man, I would like to find them, right? I really would. I would like to find the people who have that ideology, that have that kind of cash. Am I convinced that they're gonna be out there? I'm not sure. If they listen to this, are they gonna wanna use us? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, right? And if not, there's plenty of options for them, and that's fine if it takes us a little longer to get there that way. But that's my 5-year thing
Mhm.
is like, "Look, I get it. It's gonna take a minute. I wanna
Mhm.
build these foundations. The reason we're doing this isn't because anybody's gonna listen to it.
Mm.
It's because it puts another tentacle out there
Yeah.
into the world where we might get a lead. And then maybe somebody will listen to it. And
Mhm.
if they do, and the other thing is we're gonna have guests on who teach us things.
Mhm.
We're gonna learn about ourselves, we're gonna learn about the industry, we're gonna learn about their opinions of it, and it's all gonna feed us in our quest to be great.
Yeah. I I think part of the 5-year for me too, though, is our relationship and the way that we get to experience this growth. I mean, yeah, I mean, part of someday what we'll get to talk about too on here is our relationship goes. I met you the first year I moved here 20 years ago, and I deeply love your family. And what I have taken away from my current job and starting a program with people that I care for and have a lot of respect for and can have hard conversations with and can do that together is I also know that I don't wanna do anything else, right? Like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
value that, and what that brings is the ability to do the hard things. Like, you and I are gonna have moments that are hard. We're gonna have deals that are hard. We're going to have experiences where we kinda get slapped in the face and we have to be we gotta figure it out, and, um, and being able to do that with somebody who I have care and respect for is exciting. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to see where our growth is in 5 years as friends and as families, because our families are gonna be involved. They have to experience all of this. They have to be a part of it, regardless of, whether we want that to be real or not. Like, it's not possible, right? You can't keep them totally separate. And to be able to build something that is good and we feel connected to and making impact and making money.
Yeah. Well, I think
That's a success for me.
it's really interesting too, like, we'll do this, and what this forces is the thing that we probably are pretty good at anyway, which is just, like, talking about the hard shit,
Mm,
but what these mics do and what these headsets do and what this sort of the structure does
mhm.
is it kinda requires us to ask each other those questions
Yeah.
like therapy does, and I think it'll help when those tough moments happen. It'll help us reflect on it in a really healthy way,
Mhm.
and so we're using this. This is definitely selfish, right? This is a
Yeah.
thing that's like I mean, even in this conversation, like, we were talking before we got on it, started the mics up and stuff, but it feels pretty natural, it feels like it flows just fine.
Mhm.
You know, it's not the exact conversation we would have over coffee, but it's pretty darn close,
Mhm.
and I think it'll help us, like, along the way, hit those hard parts and we'll be like, "You know what? This is feeling maybe we'll get into that today," right? Like, if we have a conflict or we have a problem or something, let's just fucking get into it, right? Like, let's figure it out.
Mhm.
I think it just forces us to like touch it when
Yeah.
otherwise we might just bury it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's human nature, right? And I think that an evidence of that is that like you're here and yeah, I didn't really tell you. I mean, you kind of knew we were going to do this today, but like, and we're not posting this yet. Like, we're going to talk about how to put these episodes out there and when they go out there and stuff. But it's still like kind of bold to be able to talk about something before. I mean, you're in a really unique spot, right? You haven't told your
No.
other job that you're leaving. You're deeply connected to that job. You're deeply connected to the people in that job. You're here exploring this in a pretty open way.
Mhm.
You know, like have you told anybody other than Steve that you might be doing this?
A few close friends.
Yeah.
And, so that is something that comes up too for me right now that feels really hard and almost inauthentic, is that I haven't had the conversations at work.
Yeah.
It's really, like, giving me heartburn.
Yeah. I imagine. That's like being in a relationship with the person you know you're going to break up with.
Mhm.
Right? That is
Shitty.
you know it's coming, you care about them, all those things, and I think people can identify with that. That's
For
not
sure.
that like how people quit their job is a deeply emotional
Mhm.
and
Well, and it's protective because let's be honest, I need the paycheck right now.
yeah, yeah, totally. I mean there are all those elements, right? Like that I would equate that to I need the place to live.
Mhm.
Right? We're sharing a house. I don't have a fucking way to go pay rent
Yeah.
and do this thing. I'm staying in a relationship for this other reason too. Right? There are so many avenues to it.
Mhm.
But it's like you're here, you're doing the work ahead of time so that when it happens,
Mhm.
you will have done more work to get there than most people do. Because sometimes the band-aid just gets ripped off
Mhm.
and you're just like, holy shit. And you're pissing in the wind, living in a tent or a
Mhm.
truck or whatever, which we've both done. So, like it's it's a thing. So it's good to be here. You're doing the right thing, I think. And you're not overly committed. Like you might still be a part of this if you don't make that change,
Mm.
right? Like we might still do this, but I think you're going to make it. I think you are. I just, when I said you're going to make $1 million in 5 years, you're like, fuck yeah, I need to start quitting.
Start
Um,
quitting. Get real scared and just make it happen.
but yeah, you're in an in between moment and sort of in between. You're in between in you,
Mhm.
but not hourly yet.
Yeah. Which my reflection on that too is that I haven't been there. I haven't changed careers.
Yeah, you haven't done that yet.
Mm. So this
Yeah.
is I've changed jobs, but my skill set was kind of the same deal.
You'll
So
have to be really open with me about how, like, if I'm blind to that sometimes
mm,
or insensitive to it,
mm,
like, we'll need to talk about that,
mhm,
right? Because you're going to have moments that are difficult and I'm not going to read it right. I'm
mhm.
going to be like, dude, we need to get this fucking thing done or whatever. Or where were you or whatever? Like, those moments are going to need to, yeah, like, that's going to need to be a thing that we navigate, right? In a healthy way because some of this shit feels like it's under a pressure cooker, but it's not.
Mm,
Just enjoy the process, right? Remember the story of my employee lost two people in front of her, right? Like, just keep this shit in perspective. It's really important, right? And I get the financial piece is going to be a big deal. And hopefully we can set this up in a way where you're like, you know what? There's enough in the hopper.
mhm.
I know you've mentioned like you're really uncomfortable with the idea of coming in and taking half of whatever it is.
So uncomfortable.
I totally get it. And the only way that I can say that, and I don't know if this will be the way that I say it every time, is don't worry, I'll get you back. I'm coming for you.
Yeah. Okay.
There will be a time, right? But like, that's not, it won't happen like vindictively. It's just shit is going to happen in our
Yeah.
lives over the next 5 to 10 years where we're going to say to each other, like, dude, I need you to step up big right now.
Mhm,
Like, I'm out for a minute.
mhm.
We're going to have parents who pass. We're going to have,
Oof.
there's so many things. That's what partnerships are all about. And so, like, I can't say more genuinely than I say it. Like,
Mhm.
I, this part, it's not about the money,
Yeah.
right? Like, what you're giving to me is worth every fucking penny because I will be getting time back. Not right away, right? Like you're going to be coming up and learning, and there's going to be a lot of questions, and like you have to come on as like an assistant, like a licensed assistant, which is going to be kind of a weird. We'll have that conversation too, right? But just the title, and then there's the learning, and then there's the, you know, the getting good at it, and then there's the piece where you fully embrace it, and then all of that. But like, just like you have faith in the reason you're doing it with me is same. Like, I don't want a different partner that has like, now that I've contemplated having you as a partner, like there isn't anybody else out there, right? Like I've contemplated Jake, my cousin, he's our broker, 27 years of experience. Like, come on, right? Nope. Rather it be you, right? Like,
That's a nice compliment, Max.
Jonathan, had him as a partner. He's really good. He's got all these different skill sets. Like, nope, I'd rather it be you. Work with Molly and Rachel. They're
killing it.
Killing it. I'd rather work with you. Matt Magnotta, probably the top guy in Park City, if not one or two or three. You know, there's definitely an opportunity for me to work on his team. Nope. I'd rather do it this way, right? And it takes discipline to like say no to things. But that's because I know I have faith. It's like that. We talk about thoughts versus feelings. It's a feeling. It's like, oh yeah, this is right. And that's not to put pressure on you, but that's just the genuine like, oh no, I know this is right. This is like, both the thoughts and the feelings work together. And it's like, this is going to be good. It's going to take some time, but it's going to be good. And like, you know, it's not about the money, but I was talking to Joanne about it the other day. On the gross side, I have like $175,000 worth of commissions coming in the next 6 weeks. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the gross, right? And then you pay the brokerage, you pay all the things, but it still nets out at like $100,000.
Yeah.
I've been doing it 6 months.
Hot
I
diggity.
fucking suck at it.
No.
Right?
Okay, this came up that I didn't say it last time, or when you were talking about it, but that is being able to witness you, as you say, suck at it with my parents is, and part of this I'm sure is entangled in my relationship with how I feel about real estate, blah, blah, blah. But, and I think I told you this, but I think part of what we're doing is, what's your phrase? Correct, don't protect.
Yeah.
You are so committed to that, and I appreciate that, and I agree with that approach, and that, yeah, you're learning, I'm learning. It's going to be, things are not going to go the way that we predict sometimes. We feel like we're going to be able to think that we're doing everything the way we're supposed to, and then something's going to blow up. All those things are going to happen, but having the foundation of relationship between the two of us, but then also between the clients and us, that they can expect that we will show up in the relationship that way instead of trying to hide things that didn't go well.
Yeah.
Or
It's like,
protect.
dude, if we blow it,
there are going to be people that say no thank you to that.
totally. I
And
hope so though, right? Like, it's weird to say in the real, like you want all deals. I don't want all deals. I don't. I want to work in a way that will allow me to be the best version of me. And if I'm the best version of me, I don't care how long you've been doing it. I'm going to get your deal done. You are going to get that deal done at the highest level.
Yeah.
Are we going to miss occasionally? Sure. But every deal is going to get our honest effort. And I think we've done enough other jobs to say like, yeah, I mean, I'm not half-assing doing the dishes. It's going to be clean as a whistle when you get it on the table. It just is. Like, I'm not in a rush. I'm not tied to the outcome. I want you to get the best deal you can get. And I'm going to be honest with you, if that's not the deal you think it's supposed to be. Like, yeah, and you're right. People aren't going to like that sometimes. That's okay. There are plenty of the other, right? There are plenty of people out there who are going to tell you all the things you want to hear. That If you want me to, I can tell you that shit, but it's gonna come with, like, I'm full of shit face on. You know? Right? It just is.
Hold on, let me put my face on.
Let me put my I'm full of shit face on.
Oh, God.
Uh,
Alright, you have
alright.
to go to promontory.
I'm not gonna make it. It's fine.
Oh,
We're
no.
filming we're filming today at the house. It's fine.
What time is it?
9:24. How about that, right?
Damn.
Yeah, we crushed it. We crushed it.
No. No, it was this one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That one was for dick jokes.
Yeah, okay. No dick jokes today.
Not today.
One episode without dick jokes.
We saved it. We saved them for the next.
All right. Let's see. So when I
been
was
real.
saying last time, oh yeah, it's been real. That's it. That's the sign off, not peace and love. Fuck that.
I like
It's been
peace and
real.
love. I care about you, Max.
Yeah, but it's been real. That's good. That's it. All right. Let me see if I can figure out how to stop this whole thing. Okay. So it's been real, Lauren.
Mhm.
We'll see you in 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
You're leaving,
Oh, yeah. I thought
You're
you
gone.
said I am gone.
right? For 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Okay. In 3 weeks, we're doing
Gypsy.
another one.
Yeah.
And we're going to interview somebody.
Oh, do you have
Does that
somebody
sound
picked out?
okay? No. Figure it out the day before.
Okay.
We're going to be fine.
I like it.
That's how we keep it real.
Surprise.
All right. Bye.